What's going on, my beautiful people? It is Freedom Friday. Let me just give a word. Free somebody while I help and free myself. So it was just kind of in my spirit the other day about just forgiveness. And it's been on me for a while, and so I knew it was time for me to just kind of speak on it. And so I wanted to bring us to Matthew 5:44 that pretty much tells us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Now, if you haven't seen my last video about allowing the enemy to, in your space, in your proximity, let's not be foolish with what I'm saying right now. I'm telling you, as the word says in Matthew 5:44, that we are to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of us, the love is just lost nowadays. It's just so much evil, so much hatred. And so, we have to pray for our enemies. We have to learn how to forgive people just in general. It don't matter the relationship. We have to learn how to forgive. And right now, I think so many people hold grudges and hold so much hatred in their heart because of unresolved issues as they may have had in, just certain relationships. And so I learned, just my testimony, I learned to, you have to forgive. I went through a stage or a season in my life, a phase in my life, actually, maybe for some years, where I talked about my upbringing and how, my biological mother didn't raise me and how I grew up in foster care. And, we always had a relationship. It was kind of always on and off. But up until her final days, Lord rest her soul, up until her final days, I took care of her. And so I had to learn forgiveness. I didn't realize that I didn't truly forgive until it was to a point where she wasn't able to care for herself and I was caring for her and she couldn't even speak at this time. And so when she was going through her situation, I was just like grudgingly not wanting to step up and do what I was already doing, but it was more intense because, I had to put everything in place. She was going through, she had gotten into an accident. It was so really detrimental. And so she was fighting for 2 years, and I shared, the loss of my mother last year. It's been a year. But anyway, I didn't realize that I still had some resentment or unforgiveness in my heart. And it wasn't until she got into her accident and I had to really step up and take care of so many things. And I'm sharing this because I don't know, for some reason, like I said, my spirit had just been in a place where I have been needing to share this about, just people in general learning to forgive. Like a lot of people, we have to learn how to forgive people because a lot of people don't even know or know what that their experience unforgiveness. We go about our day-to-day life. We go to work, and we have, our family time and relationships and not even realize that there's unresolved issues sometimes in relationships, family relationships, that has to be resolved, that go unspoken. And so that was a part of what happened to me in my relationship with my mother. It was so much that had went unspoken because every time I tried to speak about it, it was always pushback. But when she had her accident and couldn't speak, she had no option, no choice but to sit down and be still and listen to me. And I had to bring her back to a time that had happened when my sister and I were actually going through a transition or a phase when we were being separated from my mom at a younger age. And I vividly remember everything. But, and I explained to my mom that situation and, a couple of other things, but I let her know that, I forgave her. And, I didn't hold any resentment toward her. And I wanted her to know, that no matter what happened with her with her health, that, she was going to be covered, she was going to be taken care of, and everything was going to be okay. But I'm sharing this because we have to learn how to forget, because we cannot hold people accountable to some of the things that has happened or occurred, like the trauma that has occurred in their life, because they don't know how to, may have not known how to forgive. They may have not known how to love. So people can't give you something that they don't know how to give, or have never received it in order to know how to give it back to you. So give people grace. A lot of times things that are going on with people is unspoken. They have unspoken words, and, during their walk of life. And so we have to just learn how to forgive people. And, God says, sit in my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. So if you still have people from day to day that you have tried to talk to, and you have tried to work things out, hey, give it to the Father. God has said, give it to him. He will take care of everything for us. Victory is already ours. The battle is not ours. Victory is already ours. And we have to learn how to not seek vengeance. God is going to take care of everything for us. If we just put everything in the Master's hand, there's nothing else for us to do. So I just wanted to share, learn how to forgive, learn how to look beyond what is really going on, and see that there's someone that may be experiencing something, some trauma or some unresolved problems that they may have had, to where they're in a situation that they can't give you what you need. Maybe, they can't give you the closure. And that was just like I said with my mom, that what I had to deal with. So I just wanted to share that, but, don't be foolish now. God say to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. But like I say, don't allow, the enemy to just try to overtake you. Sometimes people will take advantage of your kindness and play on your kindness and take it for weakness. And you have to put your foot down, but then also continue to go to the Father. Give it to the Lord. Sit at his right hand until he make your enemies your footstools. So I just wanted to share that. Forgiveness. Forgive somebody. Give somebody some grace, because that might just be what they need to be able to give you what you need, And sometimes we just have to verbalize it. Although it may seem hard and difficult at times, we do have to verbalize that. Okay, so forgive. Forgive others, so that your God in heaven can forgive you. And I just wanted to share that with someone. So I hope that, my personal testimony, my reflections of what I experienced and been through may have spoken to someone else. That's what I'm here for, just to share and let you know that you are not alone. You are not alone. We all are going through things. We all have life situations that occur. And so, we just have to give ourselves grace sometimes. But realize that people can't really give you what you need if they have never experienced certain things for themselves to even understand. Okay, so give people grace and forgive. Now listen, if all is not well, know that God is definitely still working, and you are beauty marked by God. And know that every scar do heal. Give it time, but give it to God. All right, be blessed.